Alrighty, guys. Now with the Switch 2 coming out, of course, a lot of talk is of cross-gen. What games will come out cross-gen? What will Nintendo be doing? Like if a new Zelda game comes out, is it going to be available on both the Switch 2 and the regular Switch? And I believe if you look at this full article that Furukawa, the president of Nintendo, left, I'll leave a link in the description below. But he says, clearly that you need exclusive software to sell the system. Now, this is something Sony could have done. When I look back on this, I think of Sony and God of War, the new God of War Ragnarok that came out. It was on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. And I look at that as the perfect example of that would have helped the system sell a lot more. Even though it sold pretty well, it would have, that stuff like that would move the needle, I guess you could say. Now, there will be a lot of third-party companies that they'll put out the games still on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 just because you have to. But first party, Nintendo, they will have exclusive games just for the Switch 2. Now, we know that Zelda Breath of the Wild, when it came out, it was on it was on the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. That was an example right there. But again, we have exclusive titles that will move the needle. That was an example of that game was already pretty much made for the the Wii U, so they just ported it over to the Switch. That was an example of that. But for example, you'll have games that use the mouse function on the Switch 2. Those games can't be ported over. Those games can't be put on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. They can't put them on like that. But again, like the new Mario Kart, that's the perfect example I would like to make of a game that will be a Switch 2 only game because it's not going to be able, the Switch 1 is not going to be able to handle that graphically. There are going to be more cars on the track and it just can't handle it. So that's an example of an exclusive game that you'll have on the Switch 2. This is something Sony didn't really do a lot of first couple years, exclusive games. And that, I think that really hurt them because a lot of people were like, well, I can play it on the PlayStation 4. Why would I want to buy a PlayStation 5? And of course, we'll have games like, I would say, the new Mario Paint that will use the mouse on the Switch 2. Again, that'll make the Switch 2 feel, exclusive, make it feel special, make people want to buy the system for them games. And that's what I think. Nintendo's not going to be a cross-gen for a long time like Sony has with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. Even Xbox has done it with the Xbox One and the Series X there for a while. I mean, that Nintendo, they're gonna push this Switch too. They're gonna give you exclusive software to make you think, wow, look at that. For example, let's go back to the old days, Zelda: A Link to the Past. I remember that was one of my first Super Nintendo games. Now, that game came out on the Super Nintendo. It didn't come out on the Nintendo. It made you want to buy the Super Nintendo. And that's an example of what you get, with cross-gen. Now, of course, like I said, we'll have a lot of third-party companies that will still put out, cross-gen games, which means you can buy it on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. And there'll still be some Nintendo games that will come out, in my opinion. We'll see some Switch 1s and Switch 2 games come out. It'll be say Pokemon comes out. It'll be available on the Switch 1 and, of course, the Switch 2. But since we know the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, but you'll have like a better graphical version of, say, the Pokemon game. If you buy the Switch 2 version, it'll look better, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It'll look better, better graphics, controls easier, better frame rates and stuff like that. You'll have that happen. But Nintendo, they really want to push this cross-gen. They don't want to hang around like Sony did or Microsoft. They want to just push it out of the way and make Switch 2 the great system that we know it's going to be. That's the way I'm looking at it. And that's going to be the video for today. As always, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up as always. Remember, destiny is all, and love one another. We'll see you guys next time. Toodles!